Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this video. For those of you that saw my last one, I hope you enjoyed it. Tonight, I want to talk about clarity. With the fast pace of life today and the way things are going, sometimes it's hard to see things for what they are. Sometimes it's hard to stop and slow down and really be clear about what's going on around you. Moments of clarity are rare, and they should be treasured. And we had one of those just recently. Believe it or not, in politics, in our own Grovetown politics. The other day, there was a candidates forum in Harlem for both the Harlem City Council candidates and for the Grovetown City Council candidates. These are the Grovetown City Council candidates here. Pictured from left to right, you have Miss Vicki Cook, Deborah Fisher, Sylvia Shavu Martin, and then Alan Transo on the right. Now, I was not able to make it to the forum. I had to work late, as many of you probably did. I'm of the opinion that they really should start filming these, or at least Facebook Live them, so people would more easily be involved in them, because I, for one, wanted to hear what the candidates had to say. And so I had to depend on a friend of mine to be there to pretty much tell me what was said. I really was interested in what was going to go on. And while I plan to do videos talking about all of the candidates, the one in particular that I want to talk about tonight is the candidate seated on the far left, which is Vicki Keith Cook. Now, Miss Cook has been a popular name in Grovetown politics for quite a while now. She came under fire along with Councilman Dennis Trudeau when investigations started in money mishandling here at Grovetown, specifically dealing with Vicki Capitello. Dennis Trudeau, of course, is Miss Capitello's stepfather. Miss Cook works very closely with Miss Capitello's mother. And even though she had close ties to the family, herself and Mr. Trudeau were very much involved in the investigation process leading up to Miss Capitello eventually resigning and then later being terminated. Her detractors were saying that she was in with Dennis Trudeau in trying to protect Miss Capitello. Now, I'm not saying there's any truth in that. I do not know. But that was said. So, since the furor over Miss Capitello has died down, Miss Cook's detractors are now saying, and have been saying for a while, that Miss Cook does not have a mind of her own. She is basically there to back up whatever Councilman Trudeau says. She is there basically to help him try to stop any kind of progress that Gary Jones is trying to make. And they point out the fact that Miss Cook's voting record is basically identical to Mr. Trudeau's. Now, in fairness, her supporters will say that that is not true, that Miss Cook is very intelligent. She has her own ideas. She happens to vote that way because Mr. Trudeau's philosophy and her philosophies match for the direction that this city should be taking. And to be honest with you, Miss Cook's responses were the ones that I was really wanting to hear, because I wanted to hear for myself. All right, what is your vision? What are your thoughts on this? And being as how we only have the one forum, this would have been the only chance that we could possibly have to hear this, all of them together. Now, just a side note, while it may surprise you that we only have one forum, and I think we need to start arranging it where we have more, that's really not uncommon in politics, especially in national politics. You'll notice that in national politics there aren't a lot of debates. And the reason for that is this. Typically, newer candidates with new ideas that are trying to unseat establishment candidates want more debates. They want their face out in front of the crowd. They want as many people to hear what they have to say and their ideas and their vision for growth. They want to engage. They want to answer questions. Unfortunately, the establishment, and from both parties, both Republican and Democrat, tend to favor establishment candidates, career politicians and such. And establishment candidates pretty much all go by the same philosophy. And it's a quote that was attributed to Hillary Clinton, as a matter of fact. Miss Clinton was quoted as saying, you need to have a public and a private position. Now, translated into plain English, what that means is you never tell people what you really think. You never tell people what you're really going to do. You never show people what you really stand for. You show them what they want to see. You tell them what they want to hear. That's how you get elected, because once you're in, you're in. So, both of the establishments limit these debates because they know that the one thing that they cannot control is the human factor. They know that the more their candidates are out there interacting with the public, especially on national TV, the more chance they have to slip up and show us what's really going on. A moment of clarity, if you will. We had such a moment at the forum. As I said, I was really looking forward to hearing what Miss Cook had to say and what her ideas were, this being the only forum we were going to have. Unfortunately, when it became Miss Cook's turn and she was asked a question, she sat up and spoke very clearly in the microphone and asked Mayor Jones exactly how she should answer the question. Mayor Jones happened to be a spectator. To give Mayor Jones credit, to be polite, he did ask the moderator if he was able to tell her what to say, and of course they said no, at which point it was explained to Ms. Cook that this was supposed to be an opportunity for her to put forth her ideas and let them be known. Now, folks, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but that to me is about as bright of a moment of clarity as you can get. After all has been said and done, after all she's been on the defensive for saying she doesn't think for herself and all she does is follow Trudeau, at her chance to show us what she thinks, she had to ask somebody else what to say. Now, Councilman Trudeau was not in attendance, so I assume she would have asked him if he were there, and they did not have the questions ahead of time, so obviously she couldn't ask him ahead of time what she was supposed to say. Haven't we had enough of this, folks? Haven't we really? I think it's pretty clear what we need to do. For me, clarity is not a problem. The problem is we have an establishment that we need to get some new ideas in, and we can do it. It's time to do it. It really is. Now, I don't want to be completely negative, so in closing, I'm going to say we can take one good thing away from this, and that's this. For once, at least we can say Ms. Cook asked the right person what it is she needed to be doing. Unfortunately, it's a little too late. The choice is clear, guys. Let's get this done. You have a good night.